Hello everyone and welcome to WWWhatwas Raw for the 1st of August 2016. Did Raw build off the momentum of the great show they had last week? Well, let's see by starting off with how they started off the show, with the good, the bad, and the weird. First we had the good. Sasha Banks coming out to that great ovation, you deserve it, great. The mic work she had with Charlotte tonight, great. Both of them spitting hot fire at each other, I think as the kids say. But then we got to the bad. Out of nowhere, Chris Jericho showed up to back up Charlotte. Okay, I guess that kind of makes sense. And as they looked like they were teaming up on Sasha, Sasha's great defender was Enzo Amore for some reason. And then things proceeded to get weird as Sasha and Enzo sort of, well, I'll be honest, they looked like they wanted to f*** each other. Yeah, that was weird. The match itself they had was fine. It wasn't anything special. It really didn't move the needle at all. Ending was okay. It sets up Charlotte and Sasha at SummerSlam, so I'm fine with it. Then it proceeded to get weirder because now Enzo and Cass look like they're moving into a program with Jericho and Owens, and I don't care. Speaking of things I didn't care about, that would be a majority of this episode of Monday Night Raw. Stop me if you've heard this one before. Braun Strowman was in a squash match. Nia Jax was in a squash match. The Shining Stars were involved in a squash match. Sound familiar? Oh, there was so much of this episode to not care about. It was just quantity over quality. They're like, oh, well, people liked that last week was filled with wrestling. Let's fill this one with wrestling. Except we're not going to do anything, but it'll just be quick, like 2-minute long matches. But that people will like. That people like the wrestling. I didn't care about the New Day match. I really didn't care about Mark Henry and Rusev having a match. I super don't care about Reigns moving for the U.S. title. However, side note, can we just chart the descent of Reigns from Golden Boy to probably going to lose to Rusev at SummerSlam? I super duper did not care about Heath Slater and Jinder Mahal. No one cares about Jinder Mahal. And then it got worse. Even matches I normally would care about weren't given the time and were just dramatically okay. Sheamus and Cesaro, two guys who can work, should have been fine, wasn't given the time, was very okay, and they cut away from the brawl in a commercial break. Dumb. Rollins and Zayn, again, two guys normally are great, is just, it didn't have it. It was just kind of missing something. This was a bad follow-up to what they did last week. Now, I'll be perfectly honest, at this point I was completely and utterly drained, but they ended with the Brock Lesnar segment, and to give him his credit, Paul Heyman, best hype man. Just best. He came out really hyped up Lesnar. Orton weirdly adopted this kind of southern preacher voice for whipping Orton and all that. And they're hyping up the RKO, which is good to see. Really, and I am curious if they are going to pull the trigger and have that match start. Orton hit one RKO and beat Lesnar. I wonder if they have the balls to do that. But then Orton out of nowhere came out and hit an RKO on Lesnar. Okay. Sorry. I was bored. I was just drained from the utter mediocrity that was this episode. Raw, please do better. Please. I already have low expectations for SmackDown tonight. But that's me done. Do all the liking and subscribing if you want. And that WW What was something called Raw.